This is the Kindy Rockstars Podcast, Season 5. Bringing you incredibly talented singers, artists, creators, and producers in the genre of children's music. I'm your host, Patrick Adams. Each episode will feature songs, albums, videos, or live performances, along with great stories from the artists themselves. Kindy Rockstars Season 5 is proud to be supported and sponsored by Waltmania Public Relations, serving the family entertainment community for more than 20 years. And now, on with the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kindy Rockstars. I have with me today Jay Sand, creative force behind All Around This World. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited to be. It's a great thing you do, and I'm really happy to be part of it.
Well, All Around This World looks like a very fascinating entity, and it looks like there's multiple things to talk about with it. So I'm really excited to learn about it. But first question I'll tee up to you is, how did you get started into doing this? How did All Around This World come to be?
Sure. All Around This World is a global music and world cultures program for kids and families. And at the heart of it is a curriculum of songs that I developed, adapted from all over the world. It's a very pretty extensive curriculum with really, there are 3-month sections, each focusing on a region of the world. There are 12 of them if you would go week to week to week in these classes in a row. So it's a 3-year cycle. It's a lot. And there are 20-something songs or more within each of these sections that I've adapted from some traditional music from different places, some with composers and licensed with the idea that I would adapt them and translate them so that we would be able in a classroom or in a concert with kids to be able to sing, and it would be really active and fun and engaging, but it would also be able to know what you're singing. And I have children, and when they were little and I was singing songs with them, we'd sing these international songs that I was excited about, and we'd realize that we didn't have any idea what we were talking about, and it could be, who knows? We wanted to know what's Daddy singing, and I said, I have no idea. It sounds great. And so when I had these kids and I started to do some musical work with them and think about putting together my own program, I wanted to make it so that there would be a mix of English and the original language. So it's a set of songs, but at the same time, it is a set of performances and concerts and classes that I present. And also I'm working with lots of musicians and teachers from different parts of the world. Schools and other entities participate on Zoom or through the curriculum materials online. So it's a global thing. And at the same time, sometimes it's incredibly personal in the moment, everybody having fun in that room and nothing else matters kind of thing. So it balances both those and can be all of that at the same time. And I started really, I'd never particularly imagined myself certainly as a music teacher or really a musician. I was a youth group song leader. I had the guitar in hand and I sang songs in the circle. I was the guy at the campfire. I learned how to play guitar when I was about 11, and I got to be better until I was about 12, and then stopped and leveled out. So I know chords and I can play pretty nicely. I'm not an instrumentalist, but it was enough for me. I wanted to be able to sing along with everybody and play songs and have everybody sing. And sometimes in the youth group things, Jewish youth group, teaching songs and being part of that part of the fun was what I did. And I aspired more to be maybe a historian or a journalist or something with writing and history. I studied media and social movements from the 60s. I was interested in activism and the interrelation with media. And so I also wanted to do some journalism and learn about things happening contemporarily through writing about them. And I loved the idea of traveling and throughout college. And then afterwards, I always had this exploration bug. I wanted to go places. And when I went places, I wanted to go there for a long time and really be a backpacker rather than a hotel tourist. That was not my style. I really wanted to go really guitar strung over my back and meet people for a long time. So I did that. I had my guitar all the time and sang songs with people, especially in places, different parts of Asia and Europe and South America, and places where I didn't speak the language. I was able to meet people with the guitar and musically. And I wrote songs and did singer-songwriter things, but it was never a full aspiration of mine to be a musician. But I did get a chance after school to do some journalism in different places, especially Africa. And as I was coming back to write these articles, I realized that when I had this incredible experience with amazing things happening, and then I would write this article for a publication, it felt for me very really literally black and white on the page, very codified into a moment in time that then after the next edition, had disappeared. And I wanted this to be alive. And so I found myself, instead of writing articles about things that I had done, going to speak and doing presentations with my slides that I took and songs that I learned, and really singing with people about these places and having that be a conversation. They would learn about the places that I had been through the songs that I'd learned when I was there. And we sang along. Because I was a youth group song person, it was a lot of sing-along stuff that I adapted songs even then to make them really work for me with adults in this educational performance kind of environment. I had kids. My wife and I live in Philadelphia. Wonderful. We love it here. We planted here. And I realized I certainly wasn't going to disappear for months on end to travel. So I was going to be home with the kids, be here teaching them about all of these things. And I wanted to continue the excitement about these exploring and meeting people and opening the mind to many different cultures and types of music. Types of music were really my way in to appreciating the cultures and the different types of foods and holidays and things. I always looked first through a song to get my sense of how these places felt. And my oldest daughter now, who's an old person, certainly older than she was when she was little person, we would watch YouTube together. We'd look at a map. We'd have a map. We had a map on the wall, and she'd point to the map, and then we'd go on YouTube and find music from that place. And that was so fun that as I was taking her to this little kids music class, which was a great place to be out in the suburbs of Philadelphia, parent-child class, singing with them, great fun. I was always thinking, wow, how can I have this level of connection musically with her with this international music? What can I do? Because we're enjoying this so much, but these are long songs and they have, like I said, different languages. So I started to kind of piece them a little bit together, take out choruses and find out about them and sing with them, just because that was a great way to communicate. And the music program had a spot open for a teacher. And I said, oh, that sounds like I could sing with young kids. I love that age group. I just enjoy being with the families. I enjoy the musical part. I became one of the teachers there and trained to do that. And when they said a couple years in that they were changing their model, and instead of having the teachers come to these centralized locations, they were sending the teachers out to their neighborhoods to teach in their own places. I thought, wow, that sounds like fun. But if I'm going to be with my kids and my kids' friends and all my neighbors in my place, the bringing in this music in this way with this age group seemed really exciting and important and really dynamic and something that could be a special experience for them. So I kind of by that point had an educational structure of how these children's music classes would work, and really with the elements of how you could be a wonderful teacher for the young age group. And then I over years adapted, got translations, worked with different artists, worked with lots of different cultural people to find just the right balance of songs from these different regions of the world, really 3 months by 3 months, to create this curriculum that is now, years later, available online for teachers, for schools to use. And in the meantime, I taught many classes and performed all over the US. And then when my kids got older, we traveled. They were my band. My oldest played viola. The middle was the drum kit, and the younger, when she felt like it, played the ukulele. If there wasn't a playground within sight, she would play ukulele. They sing beautifully. It was really lovely. So they were not just kind of singing along to a backing track and all as the kids band. They were the band, and we traveled around the country a few years on the summers, and then we went to Europe for the summer before the pandemic as a band. And then last year, post-pandemic, we returned to travels, and we traveled all over India, teaching, performing. So that has been my story. Started with just loving to play music and feeling that that's the way that I could communicate with people, and landed here with having this expensive program that now enables, I hope, families and schools to communicate with their kids in with that same kind of energy.
Yeah, man, I could go 1,000 different directions with questions here, but at the end of the show, definitely want you to let people know how they can find your class and
Absolutely.
and participate in it. What are some of the most memorable moments from the travels? Because I'm a huge travel buff myself.
I mean, I felt the travels. I felt like it was such a scam because I was having so much fun, and the places were paying me for the most part, and as a performer and a teacher, so I was doing legitimate professional work. But I also got a chance to travel around the U.S. and the world with my kids, which was the most wonderful thing. And playing in the band was so much fun. We got to practice together. We really had these wonderful moments together. It was so special and fun. The because of that, my performing moments are connected to the idea of these funny family moments. So there are really they're intertwined so much. I mean, it's hard to, every time we went on a trip, that was the most exciting trip, and then I only can think of that. The most recent times, the traveling all over northern India, performing in these schools was a pleasure. And there were so many kids, and they would have, I at one point performed at a performing arts festival. The kind of the end experience of our trip was this performing arts festival in Lucknow, and the school there that we were putting on this festival is the largest. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records, as they tell everybody, the largest private school in one city in the world, and they have 60 something thousand students in multiple campuses. So I would go all day to campus and sing with 1,000 5-year-olds and 1,000 6-year-olds and 1,000 7-year-olds, and they were singing and dancing and having wonderful, wonderful times. Great fun. But then we worked on some performances too with some local percussionists and other artists. We ended up singing the last night right before I had to go. We had to go on the plane. It was really like that scene in Sound of Music where they sing a song and then they run off of the stage. Now they are trying to escape a war and going to different places over the hills. I had to make a plane, but basically we sang the song. We sang as a song with in front of the big video screen, and my daughters we were like, it was like a big thing, like at the sports stadium, and all these kids were dancing and singing and having fun, and I was on top of the world, just thinking, wow, this journey that started with just sitting in the living room is something where we get to be singing with the world wherever we go. So that's every time, the trip that's the last one is the most vibrant, and that one jumps to the top of my head as a moment when it was all coming together.
All of it just absolutely sounds amazing. I could probably talk to you for hours just about the travels alone, but that's
anytime. We can be off the clock. We can still keep talking as humans someday.
Exactly.
But absolutely, no, I love talking about the travels, and I love talking about all of the different elements of the music. And for me, when they come together in the same place, in the same way, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Well, let's turn to the music. All around this world, South and Central Asia. That is the most recent release. And we're going to feature some songs from that.
Mm-hmm.
But talk about the making of this album and the past ones that you've done, the Latin America focus, the Africa focus. But yeah, your process for pulling these together.
Well, so the way that I do this is actually these CDs are I create them differently than I would perhaps if I were original children's performer or any performer. It's not my band necessarily or my performing entity that has a cohesive sound. In the sense that the mission for these recordings is to take the work that really adapt the songs that I brought into the curriculum. All the songs in these CDs are part of the core curriculum of my classes. And if you're coming to my music classes or you're dealing with getting the connections with them online, these are the songs that are the heart of it. And I've chosen them very specifically based upon geography of different places. And when I put together this set of songs for a season, I really want to draw from different regions, different languages, different stories, different kinds of songs. It was a very intricate and very built process. The classes need to be balanced with different kinds of tones and different kinds of rhythms and all these things that led to my choices. And then I have these songs that we sing and have wonderful times with in class. What I wanted to do for each of these regions is to take the music that we heard in class, and really I'm singing or another teacher that I've trained is singing, and it's in their voice. When we do the whole class, I sing songs from 10 different countries, and that's just whatever. It's my voice, and the kids are hearing that. But I wanted them to come home and be able to hear those songs with original instrumentation from those regions, the vocalists who are speaking the original languages and singing in those languages and English. And be able to really hear what the instruments sound like and what the songs feel like. So the process it's really a goal of blending creating these songs that are wonderful to listen to just separate of anything. You just hear them and you say, wow, that was great. But they're very specifically fitting into this educational environment that if a school or a school district or someone would pick up on this curriculum as a whole, the stories that all these instruments and vocalists and types of languages would tell as a cohesive unit would be the educational program. So there's a lot going into these decisions. And so because of that, with each of these, I did Latin America, Africa and South and Central Asia so far, and I eventually in my life want to finish the rest of them. I really need to work with a producer. For the Latin American and South and Central Asian CDs, I found a producer who was the main co-conspirator for all of the album making for each of those. The fellow for Latin American CD was Afro-Cuban percussionist Arturo Stable, and the producer of the South and Central Asian CD, which we'll hear some songs from that one. Samir Chatterjee is a very well-known and very well-respected for many good reasons. Tabla player, international, lives in New York and Kolkata. He teaches at universities about Indian tabla and Indian folk music. He is the real deal and was able to put the instrumentation together of these songs based upon the different languages and the nuances of each region and each type of music. It was beautiful. For the African CD, there's so many diverse types of music from around Africa. I worked with a co-producer who was the engineer, Eamon Drum from his studios in Brooklyn, and with other studios and other artists too, but for the most part, Eamon and I would be working with musicians from these different places, Ethiopian singers for the Ethiopian songs, and South African musicians or musicians from Tanzania or North Africa. It was really very regionally focused. So we kind of be starting anew with a band almost every song, and so it was incredibly fulfilling, musically engaging, and expensive. So why do I not have 10 of them? The answer has been spoken. It was really expensive, and of course, keeping costs down and trying to. Of course, I want to pay everyone legitimately, so I'm paying for the studio time and the bands and the musicians, and they're wonderful musicians. But it really it was a work of it's 34 songs on the Africa CD, and there were dozens, if not 100 musicians who participated in some way because everyone had the special instrument from the special place. It was really fantastic. It really was. The goal there is to have the song really tell the story of this place with its instrumentation. So it even rises above the the adaptation that I've done to try to make it so that it's understandable and relatable to the kids. I want the kids, I want everybody to listen to this talking drum track or something and say, "Oh, that's that sound. Okay, is amazing. I love the way this all fits together." So a lot of very meticulous work to try to get these things to happen. And I knew more about African music and Latin American music when I went into this than I did about South and Central Asian music too. And now I know a whole lot more, having traveled there and learned a lot from the recording process. But there really are so many, of course, different varieties of sounds, different traditions. The nuances are many, and the word quote unquote authentic is very complicated. That is a thing that is nuanced beyond belief and can be written about in volumes what that means for musicians. But that's I guess as honest, I think, is a word that I use with a little bit less that carries a little bit less baggage, I guess, that I wanted this music to be honest and from these places with an honesty that comes across, and authentic, quote unquote, always with the quotes, meaning that it has a resonance with the traditions in a way that's not that's not put on, that's not just an artifice pretending to be like the traditions. And sometimes we couldn't find a singer with this exact native speaker of a particular singing language, and we did our best, and a lot of times we succeeded, I hope. But it was that kind of process where it was not a band getting together to play songs. It was really a very created educational experience that had to also end up being fantastic to listen to.
Amazing. And I'm actually excited to get into these songs because I feel like the 5 songs we're going to feature all have very interesting and unique stories. And as we go through them, yeah, feel free to, definitely talk about, what country did this originate in, or what area did this originate in, how really excited to learn about it. And also, we'll play a game where you're going to correct my attempt at pronouncing the names of these songs.
Right. Well, what I very, very consciously tell all the students and the teachers who are learning with me and everyone who's doing this program is that our mission is to open doors to inspire and fulfill curiosity that the kids have, to introduce them to a country that they've never heard of, and then be able to have them feel the way that some of these songs and dances and traditions feel, and then from that get inspired to learn more on their own. We're really starting this conversation with these places in the world, and within that, there's a lot of possibility of fear, not pronouncing things correctly, not doing the dance correctly, not singing the song in a way, and absolutely 100% legitimately, we want to be as obviously respectful, but as accurate as possible. But if the fear of making a mistake in this mission gets in the way of fulfilling the mission, then it doesn't feel right. So I tell everybody, and I myself, am pronouncing everything so as much as well as I can. Our goal here is not about perfection of pronunciation or dance steps or any sort of skill or any specific bit of knowledge that we want the kids to be able to replicate. It really is an experience of openness that jumping in and embracing everything gives us that opportunity to do. So we are going to say everything wrong. And hopefully the recordings are closer because that's part of the process of it. But even so, like I said, we don't have a native language speaker of every single original language from these songs. And so even there, one neighborhood to another, there are different pronunciations and different languages in different places. Yeah. So we're doing the best we can because the goal and the mission is I feel, really important.
Very cool. All right. Well, let's kick off with the first song, Bai Tharo.
Bai Tharo, I call it that. It is a song from, this song is from Rajasthan. It is a state in India. It is, there's a lot of desert, and it's in the north of India. And I actually spent some time there this past summer singing and performing, where I certainly had not been there when I did this recording. This particular song, the singer is Samir Chatterjee's wife, actually, who is a very accomplished Indian vocalist. And and it is a song. In my music, as I mentioned earlier, try to balance original language with English. Sometimes the English that is being sung in the song is a word for word translation or close to it. Sometimes the English that I've translated gives a little poetic experience of summarizing what the song is about. And so this particular one is about what makes a good life. This is this is a little bit of an interpretive song from this Rajasthani song, but this is what a beautiful life will be. This is what a glorious life will be. And there are lots of elements that go into that. In my classes, we'll talk about what makes for a good life, and put those kind of ideas into our singing and dancing of the song. So when she's singing, this is what a beautiful life, a glorious life will be, the teaching of it has a lot to do with what you think as a kid is good about your life, and then connecting that with some of the ideas from what it might have been in traditions from that part of India.
Okay, very cool. Well, we're going to play that song right now, and here it is, Bai Tharo.
That sounds good to me.
Awesome. All around this world. And that was Bai Tharo. Next song we're going to talk about, it is called Champa Botir.
Champa Botir is a song that is, I think, originally in Bengali. It's a southern Indian language, and also in Bangladesh. And the story here, it's an interpretation of a folk story, a folk song. It's a love story essentially. There's a lot of, if you're here listening in the news during monsoon season, maybe now, and with the way the world is the weather is going, maybe all the time. You might often hear about Bangladesh and the southern parts of India with floods. And being in and around the river and water is incredibly important, and life revolves often around how high the river is. And so, but this folk song is a song that is about love with not sure, the princess, I believe it's the princess and the prince in this lore meeting where he's not sure if she's going to fall in love with him, And so he said the king, I think, sends a boat to try to get her and find her. And so there are lots of versions, as there are so many versions of, if a song is 1,000 years old, there are 1,000 versions of it. And if a song is a couple of weeks old, there could be 1,000 versions of it. So music does that. And lots of different folk tales and stories. So what my interpretation of this song is, and the singers here actually are both Samir's wife and son, actually. Many of Samir Chatterjee, the producer, most of the musicians were not in his family, but they were a vocalist and a tabla player. His son, a wonderful tabla player, and this golden girl, this princess who is the center of the song, is sort of a shining light, and she is there's the romance, is trying to figure out if she's going to fall in love. In my classroom, the kids are young, and when we talk about love in ways, I don't talk as much about that. It's more about friendship and finding friends and things like that, because kids are 3 or 4 years old. But I, of course, acknowledge that it's a love song and talk about how these things, people meet each other and want to get to be closer and get to know each other better. We sing for this one, because it's so much about water, is we sing about different kinds of modes of transportation within water. So we sing the song and we sing it over and over again as we pretend to take a boat and take a jet ski and we sail, and we act all these things out with sticks that we're drumming with. And so we get a chance to explore this folktale in a very vague way, but essentially part of the lesson I'm trying to plant here is to be able to connect the idea of the importance of water and the importance of these rivers and the monsoon and the weather with this part of Bangladesh and India, and that I feel kind of fits into the context a lot of times of the one time of the year in the U.S. when you'll hear about some place is when something bad's happening. Exactly, and so the family may only see news about this part of the world when there's a flood. And I like to say, yes, that is true. There are these things that happen, but really water is both life and the bringer of other things in these places. And you celebrate the bounty of the water and live using the water in these environments. At the same time, it is also something that can be overwhelming and can really be dangerous to you. So you live in relationship with the nature. And that's the haughty kind of lesson behind this song. When I work with older kids, in elementary school classrooms, I will often sing, we'll dance, we'll do these things. And then later on, the teacher or I, in a different time period, will say, well, we sang that song. Let's really unpack it and see what it's about. So we would look at the map. We'd say, well, this is a part of here are some rivers. And this is when you see this on the news. And then there are discussion questions and ideas within the curriculum about talking about these topics of relating to nature and what happens when you live on the river, where you make your livelihood and your life is around it, but then sometimes it does kind of flood and come get you. So the older kids get to take these layered versions of what culture and music do together to explore these places.
Fascinating. All right, well, let's check this song out. Here it is, Champa Botir, from All Around This World.
Champa Botir, golden girl, the king sends a boat to see you. Champa Botir deshe,
Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re, Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re.
Champa Botir, golden girl, gives him her heart, maybe. Oh, Champa Botir deshe re.
Champa Botir, golden girl, gives him her heart, maybe. Oh, Champa Botir deshe, Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re, Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re, Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re, Champa Botir deshe re bhai, Champa Botir deshe re.
And that was Champa Botir. Next song we're going to talk about is called Daweedam. Tell us about this one.
This song I learned actually from a collection of songs of the Afghani Children's Song Project by Louise Pascal. She is a educator, a musician, involved with the Children's Music Network. I had not met her when I was putting this music together for the program, but I found that she had been in Afghanistan recording music of and working with young children. And she has wonderful, this songbook project has these fantastic recordings now from years ago from Afghanistan. And this song is in this collection called The Bread Story, and it's about a kid who honors his teacher so highly that he essentially makes bread for the teacher. You in my class, I discuss how if you have a particular tradition of honor and you want to give a present to an adult or a teacher, one of the most dignified and honorable things you might do in Afghanistan and many other places is to give them a loaf of bread. This is representing life and about the harvest and about all these things that are good about keeping your self-sustenance. The story here, though, is that the kid will go and not just buy a loaf of bread at the store, but dig up the field, plant the wheat, grow the bread. He mills the wheat, and we do in the class with the milling of the wheat is like squeezing and tickling little 3-year-olds and all that. Then we knead the kids with like dough, and then we eat the bread that we've made. And so, as you'll hear in the song, goes through that progression, and you can envision everybody making these hand motions and run to the field. You're pretending to run around, and then you dig and dig and dig, and so it's a very active kind of narrative. And this has a bunch of percussion that is mixed from India, and Samir Chatterjee. I don't know why I picked all the ones that he and his family sang, but he's the vocalist on this one, the producer, and had spent time in Afghanistan working with musicians several times before it became quite dangerous for him. In the time after the Taliban were temporarily taken out of power, but then it got more dangerous for him as things went on. But he had these experiences in Afghanistan musically. The original song, I believe, is in Dari, one of the languages spoken of the several major languages spoken in Iran, and also in parts of Afghanistan.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's check this one out. Here it is, Daweedam from All Around This World.
Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. Daweedam, Daweedam, Sare kohe rasidam. I run and run to the field to plant the wheat to make my bread. I run and run to the field to plant the wheat to make my bread. I run and run to the field to plant the wheat to make my bread. I run and run to the field to plant the wheat to make my bread. Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. 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 I dig and dig and dig and dig to plant the wheat to make my bread. I dig and dig and dig and dig to plant the wheat to make my bread. I dig and dig and dig and dig to plant the wheat to make my bread. I dig and dig and dig and dig to plant the wheat to make my bread. Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. 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 I mill and mill and mill and mill and mill the wheat to make my bread. I mill and mill and mill and mill and mill the wheat to make my bread. I mill and mill and mill and mill and mill the wheat to make my bread. I mill and mill and mill and mill and mill the wheat to make my bread. Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. 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 I need the dough to make my bread. 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 Daweedam, Daweedam, sare kohe rasidam. 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 I eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat my bread. I eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat my bread. I eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat my bread. I eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat my bread.
And that was Daweedam. Next song we're going to talk about is called Dhe Dhe. Tell us about this one.
Oh, I love this song so much. It's so much fun to sing and play the song in the concerts and performances and classes. The song is from southern India, from the Tamil-speaking regions, and the drum there is the dole. It's a great double-headed drum. The incredibly, it makes you want to get up and dance. There's a fantastic kind of drumming, very deep and resonant percussion that it really just is so much fun. The story here of the song, and I'm going to put the kind of disclaimers on just as I'm telling these tales of these songs in very kind of vague ways, and as I mentioned earlier, there could be 1,000 different interpretations of some of these older songs, especially have these stories and versions and elements of them that my concise narrative and narrative interpretation of it that turned into my poetic version as might be askew from something that is sung in a certain way in a certain region, the versions and all of that stuff. So I don't want to negate the possibilities of there being multiple truths. I don't know. Usually, maybe I generally in my life negate the idea of too many multiple truths. But in this particular instance, there may be multiple types of versions of these songs, and people have heard them in different ways. So in working with Samir and Chatterjee and the production of this, we focused on this being the story of original being the story of a princess wearing these beautiful clothes and bangles, essentially this jewelry, and the idea of celebrating the physical adornments that this princess was wearing, and the so the way I interpreted this in the class is I'm not necessarily going towards high fashion, and that's not a part of my shtick is not celebrating fancy and expensive clothing. What I like to do in the class is go around the class and we talk about what the kids get to say what they're wearing. We get to in the song each time we go through, we say, okay, the 2-year-old to say, well, what great thing are you wearing? And it's, a shirt with sharks or with certain socks with different characters on them, and we sing that in part of the songs. We sing their name, we sing what they're wearing. They get a kick out of it, and at the end of every phrase, the musicians in the Tamil region, as far as I've come to understand, will emote an exclamation that is the Dhe Dhe. That's sort of it's like woo. And so I originally actually heard this song with the version of it being woo, like that is what they emoted. And Samir said, well, when I've performed and played in Tamil regions, we'll say Dhe Dhe. So I like that. We sing a verse. We sing the set here, and you'll hear in the song about the clothing that the kids' names are in and what they're wearing. And we put a couple Indian traditional Indian items of clothing in the recorded version. And then you hear Dhe Dhe, and then those drums kick in, and it gets more and more intense and exciting as we go along. Really fun to sing, and I hope it's just as fun to listen to.
Love it. All right, well, we're gonna play it now. Here it is, Dhe Dhe from All Around This World. And that was Dhe Dhe. Last song we're going to talk about is called We Are Happy, India Hello. Tell us about this one.
We Are Happy is a song that when I was putting together the idea of a children's music program, and not being, I guess by that point I was for a couple of years a children's music educator, and I was in this world, but it wasn't something that I had aspired to be and hadn't ever had an aspiration of having my own kids' music thing. So I hadn't thought about the elements of it. And I realized as I was getting myself into it that you have to have a hello song because they're kids and you want to sing hello to them. And then, of course, you have to have a goodbye song because it seems to be the law. So I was thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And I knew that my approach to this was that I was not going to be the songwriter here in any respect. I would be the researcher, adapter, arranger, interpreter of other people's music from their cultures. But I was not going to be writing things as if they were from other people's cultures. That would be a disaster. So I needed to think. It took me 5 seconds to think about this, but for 5 seconds I was in a quandary. What am I going to do? I need to find a hello song from some place that I feel comfortable singing. And then quickly I remembered that when I was visiting Uganda and went to this Eastern Ugandan Jewish community in Eastern Uganda to do some writing and some other things about this community that ended up being the origins of my African musical song sharing performances that inspired me to get into this kind of teaching. When I went there, it's a long journey. You go to Kampala, and then you go to Entebbe. You fly into the airport, and then you go to Kampala, and then you take a shared taxi up to their place, and you go up into the mountains. They know it's a hard trip, and so when you get there, they celebrate your arrival, and everybody comes out from this area, and they come to greet you, and they sing 2 songs really that are mixed together in my "We Are Happy" song, which is. They sing, we are happy on this day. We're really happy that you're here. And a song with names. They sing the songs of the names of the visiting dignitaries, and they say, hello, hello. The former was the writer was my friend Gershom, and the latter, his brother JJ, my friend. So these 2 kind of I put together as the hello song, and they reprise as the goodbye song in my classes. The origin of them is from a real song that people sing to greet you that they are happy and welcome you to this place. So it felt so good to be able to not have to invent something for this purpose, because it's a real thing. And of course, it reminds me every time I sing it, and I sing at the beginning of every class and the end of every class, it reminds me of my friends and these experiences and this origin story of my getting here. So it has lots of good things about it. So for each of the CDs, I have recorded, and I will continue to as I do more of these recordings, a version at the beginning of the CD with the "We Are Happy" that I performed in a certain style that is consistent with the style of the task at hand. In this particular one, we're going to hear the Indian version of "We Are Happy," and my Indian vocal interpretation is perhaps not classical, but the instrumentation, it's sitar and other types of I believe sure there's a tabla in there, and other types of classical Indian instruments that make this connected. And then when you hear the same song in the Latin American CD, it's a merengue version, and an African CD, they're actually, because the African CD and the South and Central Asian CD are both double CDs that are kind of split into halves for digital sales and all. There are 2 versions of each 2 versions of "We Are Happy" on the Indian one. One is an Indian version, and another one, which we're not hearing, is from Central Asia. It has more Central Asian instrumentation. Right. So it's super fun to come up with versions of the same song to place myself with some consistency, also with this in this local place.
Very cool. Love it. All right. Well, we're going to check this one out. Here it is. "We Are Happy, India Hello" by All Around This World.
Din
on this day. We are happy on this day. We are happy on this day. We are happy on this day. Swagatam, everybody. Hello, hello. Namaskar. Everybody, hello, hello. Faltukal. Everybody, hello, hello. Satsrikal. Everybody, hello, hello. We are happy on this day. So clap your hands. Clap, clap, clap your hands. 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 Clap your hands. We are happy on this day.
And that was We Are Happy, India Hello. And that wraps up our song features. And this is from South and Central Asia, all around the world. Please check this out. Check out the other volumes, Latin America and Africa. I've been talking to Jay Sand, the creative force behind All Around This World. And assuming those albums can be found anywhere you stream, purchase, and download music, how can people find and connect with you? And most importantly, get involved in this class and curriculum?
So I have a website that is allaroundthisworld.com that is full of incredibly wonderful information about types of music, genres, countries, all of these instruments, hundreds of pages of things about instruments with YouTube videos of examples of people playing them. Incredible resource, which is also terribly broken and out of date. And I am actively moving it to. I'm actively moving it maybe within the year, and these things are evergreen. These podcasts, you could hear it in 100 years, and you'll find it. I'm sure there won't be the web then, who knows what there'll be, but you'll be able to, if you go to allaroundthisworld.com right now, at this moment, you might see a little sign on the front saying, we're working on this and we're moving it to a better looking and a site that works better. That site is currently at the URL exploreeverywhere.com. So exploreeverywhere.com is the direct route to the website. Eventually you'll be able to go to All Around This World, 4 words, allaroundthisworld.com. And it'll get to that same place. But the Explore Everywhere site is a great place to go. It's bright and airy and fun. It shows you how to get to the curriculum materials. You can subscribe if you're a teacher or a homeschooling parent, or even just a non-homeschooling parent who wants to bring this into their life. Into your life, you can subscribe at a monthly reasonable rate to the curriculum, where you have access to all of the lessons, the background information for your classroom. With especially, I do these each week in the class. We do a special dance or holiday celebration. It's something that has a depth to it from a particular country. All of this information, the subscribers to this get to access all of these lessons at once at all times, and special videos and all of these kinds of wonderful things. Of course, there's an email list. There's always an email list with musical tips and different things that I really enjoy and want to point people towards. So the exploreeverywhere.com is the place to go. If you're looking for local classes, I am in the process of training teachers to teach this curriculum. And so I had been ramping up to do that. Then very much so, the pandemic came and put that on hold for a while. And now I'm really actively training teachers. Trainings today. I have trainings, people coming to me on Zoom from different parts of the world, literally, to learn how to use this. Some who are school teachers or music teachers in their places who want to add some of the elements into their classroom. So if you're a teacher out there who already has your classroom, or you're a children's music performer, or someone who wants to add in some of this global music, then you can learn how to do that the way I do it and add some elements in. Or people who want to teach this whole curriculum in their neighborhood, in their place, can come and learn how to do that. That's really fun. That's my favorite part, is having these students come week to week to your group classes with the parents and kids, and being able to have them learn with you over time. So I'm building the collection of local areas. So if you go to exploreeverywhere.com and get to this website, you'll see these pen pal programs where I connect classes with each other. You'll see these live cast things that I offer. You'll be able to just, after a while, just say, look, contact me and I'll just talk with you and we'll figure out the best stuff for you. And one more thing you'll see, which is pretty exciting, which you might hear of if you're listening to this next year or the year after. We won't even put a time on it. 100 years, I hope you'll be still hearing of this. There's a performing and educational entity that I'm putting together called the Global Orchestra, which is in process of being built as a performing group consisting of musicians from the different cultures that my music program touches upon. There are 10 geographic regions of my curriculum, and we're building a band mostly based in New York City that will have musicians in that band from each of these regions. So it's a fusion band. So and so as I spoke about in the recordings, trying to make each song sound as specific to the country as possible, for this entity, which we hope to perform with and enjoy, the fusion and the cohesive sound across these international songs is going to be really exciting. And we can't wait to make that happen with these wonderful musicians. And the way that it will be available, I hope, to schools in places where you are. If you're not in New York City for some of these performances, we're going to have it. We might tour. Who knows? The future is big. But these performers will also be teachers, and we will be having each of these performers be able to be available for workshops, cultural workshops, musical workshops, either online or in person if the schools or communities want to bring them to that place. So it's really an educational entity composed of these musicians, and we're going to masquerade a few times a year as the best band ever.
So cool. All right. Well, Jay, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on and learning about this. This is a important, valuable, and fascinating part of our community. And I know growing up in a different country for a few years, how important it is for kids to know about the rest of the world. And especially to experience it through music is even better. So
it's everything. It's a great hello. The handshake that music is. It's a universal language, and you can blah 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 in a term like that. It sounds so haughty and big or so silly. But when you're singing across cultures and you're connecting with people through music, you really feel that that's exactly what it is. It's a universal language that we all as people have the pleasure to possess and be able to have this incredible way to communicate. And it's something right at our fingertips that I hope we'll be using more and more and more. And we really should use all the time as a way to connect and become connected to each other. Singing each other's songs and singing together is the way to go.
Very good. Well, thank you for everything that you do. And thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure's all mine. I love talking with you, and I love the fact that you talk to these musicians who are doing really important work in the world. And we, as musicians in this community, value each other and the quality of our work and the heart of what we do. And I really appreciate that we take this very seriously as the important and really eye-opening, mind-opening stuff that it is. So thank you for honoring that through this podcast.
Yep. Keep up the amazing work, and I hope to talk to you again soon.